The long-running farmer-header crisis in Nigeria took center stage again at the 155th meeting of the National Economic Council held virtually on Wednesday. The meeting follows President Bola Tinubu's directive to the council, chaired by Vice President Kashim Shettima, to identify grazing reserves and rural communities that can be rehabilitated into ranches and organized livestock settlements.
Cannot perform a task as fundamental as feeding ourselves unless we find an enduring, practical and nationally accepted solution to the farmer-herder crisis. Food security is a moral obligation to our people. The presentations before us today offer critical insight into responses designed to confront these realities.
The Vice President says food security remains a moral obligation that cannot be achieved without addressing the farmer-herder conflict and years of poorly managed tensions.
Your Excellencies, as always, this emergency session calls us to rise above hesitation and narrow interests. The choices we make here will shape not only our food systems, but the stability of our communities and the confidence of our citizens in the capacity of government to protect lives and livelihoods. We owe Nigerians solutions that endure, policies that heal rather than divide, and actions that reflect the seriousness of the moment before us.
The Council, after receiving presentations outlining the opportunities and challenges from the Minister of Livestock Development and the co-chair of the Presidential Livestock Reform Committee, Professor Atairu Jega, approved the constitution of a committee to fast-track the livestock development across the country.
Council considered listening to the presentations and reconstituted an existing National Economic Council Committee on National Livestock Transformation into a National Economic Council on Livestock Development.
The committee, chaired by the Governor of Kebbi State, includes representatives from the 6 geopolitical zones, alongside the Ministers of Livestock Development, Agriculture and Food Security, Budget and Economic Planning, and the President's aide on agribusiness. Its mandates covers reviewing recommendations of the Presidential Livestock Reform Committee, assessing proposals from the Ministry of Livestock Development, and identifying states ready to implement the program. In a separate presentation, the Minister of Finance briefed council members on updates to the nation's special accounts.
First of all, I informed that the excess crude account had roughly $536,000. I reported that the net of the states' accounts with the federal government, and that's the states with deficits with the federal government, the amount came to 11.4 billion naira.
The Vice President says no state will be forced to be part of the reforms, but stresses it is in the interest of all to be on board. With economic planners, agricultural authorities, and state governments now aligned, the Tinubu administration says livestock development is being repositioned not just as a security response, but as a pathway to food security, peace, and sustainable national growth.